In today's game, CJ Stroud suffers an apparent head injury and is then later ruled out of the game. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Dr. Stephen Wilson, and here on this channel we analyze the science of sports injuries. So if that's the type of content that interests you, then please consider liking and subscribing to this channel. It's at the end of the replay here when we see CJ Stroud sliding to make a hook slide and to go down on the play where he is forcefully contacted by the defender and then forcing his head into the ground, and that's where the injury occurs here. After Stroud's head forcefully hits the ground and he's laying on the turf on his back, we can look at his right hand, how he opens and closes and flexes and extends his fingers here. So we do know that CJ Stroud is conscious at this time on the field as he is moving his right hand, even though his left hand, his fingers are more extended on his chest. But if we do observe his right hand here, he is able to move it, so he is still conscious at this time. A different angle of the same play has him going feet first on the slide. The defender coming in, he makes contact with Stroud's chest here. It's not actually a helmet-to-helmet contact, but the force of the defender's left shoulder going into Stroud's chest is enough to forcefully accelerate his head and his neck down towards the turf. The back of his helmet is going to strike the turf quite forcefully here, and so much so it's actually going to create a bit of a rebound effect, and his head is actually going to come up off of the turf due to that impact. And we see that right here, his head coming up after the impact. The left shoulder of the defender going into his chest, into his torso like that. That's going to create an acceleration process of his head whipping down towards the field, and the back of his head really forcefully striking hard on the turf and then rebounding up. When his head is accelerating towards the turf like this, his brain is inside of his skull is inside of his helmet, and as his helmet suddenly strikes, it stops. There's a sudden deceleration movement or deceleration moment of his helmet. Therefore, his brain is still traveling in that downwards direction. And when his brain is traveling downwards, it's going to bump up against the inside of the skull bones of CJ Stroud's head here. It's that bumping that is going to set off that depolarization and of the neural pathways in CJ Stroud's brain, and that is going to instigate the cascade of symptoms of concussion here. CJ Stroud was later ruled out of the game due to this head injury. He was able to get up on his own power, and he was able to walk off the field motioning towards the crowd, so certainly that is a very good sign. As we look at the skeletal model, if we can picture this being CJ Stroud being tackled on the play when the back of his head accelerated down towards the turf and forcefully made contact with the turf, it was his helmet striking the turf, but inside of his helmet, of course, is his head, his skull bones, and his brain being suspended inside of his skull bones within that bath of cerebral spinal fluid. When his brain is accelerating down towards the turf, but his helmet and his skull suddenly stop, again, that's when his brain is going to bump up and make contact with the inside of his skull bones on the back of his head there, and that is going to set off the cascade of symptoms, the neural pathology, the depolarization. Everything is going to be functionally altered at this time, eliciting the symptoms of a concussion. CJ Stroud was later ruled out of the game due to his head injury. Thank you very much for watching. Please be well.